Hello, Heather Smith here, and today we are doing day 3, the Sales Command Center. This video maps to the book Learn MYOB in 7 Days. And today we are going to explore everything that happens in the sales area. A full overview and introduction of sales, linked accounts, different types of sales, sales layouts. We'll explore the sales register and the transaction journal, enter different types of sales, receive payment against the sales, process bad debts, reconcile the sales, produce statements, analyze receivables and manage debts, and ensure that we are paid on time and discuss credit application and terms of engagement. So if I escape out of there and I'll open up MYOB. Now if you already have it open, that's fine, just keep working with it. But for those of you who perhaps shut it down during from the last session, this is how we go through opening up. Click on it and mine actually opens up on the screen that you can't see, but I'll pull it across. Select Green Apple Gym. Select OK. Select this very last option. Now if you had the company file you wouldn't have this issue, but because we're working on a trial version we have this issue and we're just using the company file for practice. Clicking on Next, make sure you choose this option down here. Click on Next. Click on OK. And voila. So for some reason I can't open it up on that screen, but I can move it across to this screen. So you'll notice that the screen resolution has changed on this version from the last time I used it. I changed the resolution on my computer and it does look, it looks I think a lot better. So, introduction and overview. So this maps to page 95, day 3 of Learn MYOB in 7 days. This area of MYOB, the Sales Command Center, let's click on it so you can see it. The Sales Command Center is obviously a favourite amongst small business owners. You can raise invoices for goods or services and you can receive payments against debtors as well as monitor your accounts receivable. So I've come across numerous businesses that use MYOB simply for creating invoices to issue to customers. If this applies to you, you now have the opportunity to learn how to receipt payments, track outstanding invoices as well. Receiving payment for just one invoice that may in the past have gone unnoticed may well pay for the time and effort you spend learning MYOB this week. So don't be the person who celebrates a time. Also, don't be the person who celebrates a sale 3 times when the job is completed, when the invoice is raised and when the payment is received. You are in business to make money. You need to celebrate when the payment is in the bank account. The primary goal of the Sales Command Center is to ensure that this happens. So the first thing we'd like to do is, you can see here Sales Command Center, and I've got the flow chart here that we're looking at. But the first thing we're going to go and do is look at the linked accounts. Click on Setup, click on Linked Accounts, choose the Sales Account option. Set up linked accounts, sales accounts, and if we open that up you'll notice that the top half of it has actually come pre-filled. The first 2 links relate to how accrual sales are processed in MYOB. Don't worry about the word accrual. As we discussed on day 2, it simply means that we are tracking receipts that are due, not recording them on the day they are received. So when a sale is recorded through the Sales Command Center, the asset account trade debtors is used to record the amount receivable. So we record that we are owed money and we can see that by looking at the asset account trade debtors. When we receive the money, this account here, bank account for customer receipts, when we receive the money goes into here, the ANZ account here. So the process is sales raised, trade debtor account increases, then your bank account increases. You can see that there's another 4 options here. Let me get my highlighter pen up. You can see we have another 4 options here, which I think is quite self-explanatory. So if you start a file from scratch like we're doing, they will be blank, and you can choose your options as you go through. So I charge freight on sales, I track deposits collected from customers, I give discounts for early payment, and I assess charges for late payments. It is worth mentioning, I'd like to highlight this one, I track deposits collected from customers. If this option is selected and the customer pays a deposit against an open sale, quote, or sales order, then the deposit is allocated to the clearing account, known as the deposits liability account. When the final payment is received, the accumulated deposit within the deposits liability account are transferred to reduce the trade debtors account. This may sound a little complicated, but essentially if the sales order is raised, a deposit is received. The sales order is turned into a sales invoice and the full amount is received, and then it will work smoothly. However, if you don't or can't adhere to that process because, as it happens, deposits are received and sales invoices are then cancelled, the mechanism for dealing with this gets a little complicated. The sales invoice and the deposit invoice received cannot be deleted and need to be reversed. For this reason, I usually advise my clients that it is simple not to select this option, to keep it simple and not select this option. So if you do select this option and run into difficulties, you will need to be carefully identify the flow of transactions and go backwards through them to reverse them until you have correctly represented what happens. So I find this area particularly difficult. Some accountants insist that you choose I track deposits collected from customers, and technically it is correct to do it that way. However, the mechanisms of doing it, if it doesn't work smoothly, are quite complicated. Okay. So you would go through and choose the relevant accounts to link up here if you wanted them linked. But we're going to leave them as they are. And I'm going to click on OK. I'm now going to pop into Enter Sales right here in the center. So I'm here at the Sales Command Center, popping in on Enter Sales. Now, it's taking a little while to pop up. Now, if you pop up over to the top left-hand side and click on the drop-down arrow, you will see the options Quote, Order, Invoice. These are the different types of sales. Each type or stage is distinguished by a different color. So if you can see, I click on Quote, it actually changes the color to salmon. If you see, I click on Order, you can see it changes the color to this sort of butter yellow. And then we've sort of got a pale powdery blue for the invoice. A sales quote does not create a transaction. So if you choose Quote, it does not create a transaction. No further action is within and leads to no further action within the system. If you create an order, you will not create a transaction either. However, you will put a hold on inventory. So if you have an order and it is relevant to inventory, a hold will be put on it. The sales quote and sales order remain in the system until they are converted to an invoice or they are deleted. So when when a sale is created against the relevant customer, a reminder window will pop up and existing sales quotes and sales orders can be selected at that point in time. Okay, so that gives you an overview of quotes, orders and invoices. Now I'm going to pop in on invoice. Let's click in, and just to show you, so I'm going to choose the option to try and show you something. So I'll just select that there. And if I pop up here to the top, you'll see the option Layout, and I want to show you the different sales layout options. So you can see them here: Service, Item, Professional, Miscellaneous, and Time Billing. So the service layout, if I click OK, And this is what the service layout essentially looks like. You will notice, I'm going to highlight at the top here, you'll notice up the top here it says New Service. That's the reminder that this is a service option here. And the service layout is a standard style of invoice used to detail service and non-inventory stock. It can be also used as a default invoice when none of the other styles are appropriate. I'll choose the next layout, Item. And you can see Item, the actual columns here changed. Lots of different columns. This Item layout is used for sales of inventoried stock. And it's suitable when you sell stock of any type. Change the layout, choose Professional, click OK. Now you'll notice with the Professional you've got a date column here. So the Professional layout is similar to the service layout except there is no Ship To field. See here, there's no Ship To field. If I click back on Layout and if we click on Service, you'll notice Ship To field because that was a service. But with this Professional, say if for instance I'm a plumber, I would not have a Ship To option there. And also the other option that we have here is we have the date. We actually have the date here, which we didn't have with the other one. The layout is appropriate for contractors who wish to provide details of the services they provided against the actual dates they worked. So to remind you, if I click on Service, it just simply falls into description with no date option. So then we have Miscellaneous and Time Billing. So if I click on Miscellaneous, and this one is kind of an odd one. It's used for bad debts and miscellaneous administrative purposes. However, the layout can't be printed for some unusual reason. You can't print it. So I tend to avoid it. And then finally, if I click on Time Billing and click OK, if you click on Time Billing, if you use activity slips or timesheets in MYOB, then you can use the time billing invoice layout, and you can create this type as a standalone invoice that links to chargeable activities. This layout is appropriate for consultants who charge out their time. We, however, will not cover activity slips or timesheets in this series of webinars. Okay, so that's given you an overview of the different time billing options. The different layouts and the different sales types. So I'm going to cancel that, erase, and the next thing I'm going to do is pop up here to my sales register, and I want to show you my sales register. So click in here, and you'll see that this window has 6 tabs across the top. So there are 6 tabs across the top: All Sales, Quotes, Orders, Open Invoices, Returns and Credits, Closed Invoices. And you have the option here to search by all customers or pick a specific customer. And you have the date options here, what will show up. Now we don't have any sales in the system at the moment, so there's actually nothing for us to look at. But so as we move through, there is actually nothing for us to look at. But you'll notice the options at the bottom change as you move through. So this allows you, if we're on order, we can receive payment against an order. If we have open invoice, we can receive payment against an open invoice. Returns and credits, closed invoices. So with the returns and credits, we can actually have the option here to pay a refund or apply to sale the returns and credits. So one of the things that I find when people are using this area is they don't select the correct date range. So really be careful that you've selected the correct date range, and then think, is this a closed invoice or is this an open invoice that I'm looking for? And of course, if you actually know who the invoice is from, you can select it by the particular customer. So we have the particular customers there. So I will click, I'll also highlight that you can from the bottom here select new sale. But I'm going to click close here on the sales register and pop down here to the bottom and select transaction journal. The transaction journal came up, and again we have the date range option here. You can see here we have the sales option. So this is the transaction journal for the sales, and what you would see here is the actual debit credit entry of the sale and of perhaps money being received by the sale. So it actually expands a single line entry that you see in the sales register into maybe a 3, 4, 5 line, depending on how complex the invoice is, in the sales journal here. And perhaps if you learnt general journals, and if you learnt journal entries, you learnt debits and credits, this would make more sense to you to have a look at, because you can understand the flow of the debits and credits, because you can see them here, debits and credits. Okay, and I'm going to close on that. Now, when it comes to entering a sale, I want to emphasize that the sale needs to be entered in a timely fashion. I work with a lot of business. I come across a lot of businesses, and they go, oh, I've got all these sales piling up, and they don't enter them, and they don't send them off to the client, and thus their cash flow is impacted, because the client, once he receives the sale, may then take another 30 to 60 days to pay the invoice. But also, if you've taken so long to actually invoice them, he may actually forget about the sale, dispute it with you, and you are in a situation that you've done the work and you have a bad debt and you're not going to receive payment against it. So as soon as you have a sale confirmed, enter it as a sale and include as much details as possible. Include details of the person involved, the goods provided, any reference numbers that you've been given, so that when the person at the company receives the invoice, they know what it is in relation to. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the process of creating a service type sale. If you're on page 103 of Learn MYOB in 7 days, you'll see where we are. So click on New Enter Sale, and the sales window is open up. We're going to start by typing ABC in the top here. In fact, all I needed to do was type in A, and I'm going to tab through, and the screen fields open up for me. And you can see various options have opened up. We are going to choose the service layout. At the moment, I'm in the time billing layout. Do you remember how I know that? Because I look up here and it says time billing, and I'm going to choose layout service. Click OK, and that's got me in the service layout. You'll see lots of fields here, including ship to up here, ship via, comments. So you can, a lot of this stuff, have it set up as a default within the card. So because the address was in the card, that automatically flowed through. And all of this other information could have automatically been in the card and flowed through. So you can, at point 1, change the ship to address. You could change it to another card, or I think you can override it. If perhaps you were a business such as Bunnings, and you like a big organization like Bunnings, so you have a massive head office, which is the customer, but then the individual items are shipped to the different locations. So maybe Bunnings Sydney, Bunnings Melbourne. You could actually select another card and have it shipped to that particular company. Okay. So over here on the right hand side, I think actually, I'm not sure if there's a little space in there. No. Looked like there was a little space there. Over here on the right hand side, you have the terms. This is the terms of payment of the business, and it's sitting at COD, which is cash on delivery, and we can override them. So I'm going to click on the zoom arrow, and interestingly enough, when I did that, it came up at a different terms there. So that was interesting. But I'm still going to override them, and I'm going to change them to on a day of the month, 1st, 7th, 7th, and I'm leaving this at 0%. And you'll notice that as I've done this, it tells me that the discount expires, and it's highlighting the discount expires on the 7th, well, on the 1st. So let's have a look what date that is. So discount is the 1st of the month, so that's when the discount expires, 1st of October, and the due date is the 7th of the month. Okay? And we'll click OK on that. And that has filled out, and you can see there the term has filled out there. So now if you look at the terms, just below the terms on the right hand side we have the invoice number, which automatically filled out, and this is the first invoice for this company. Yahoo! Hurrah! So that's number 1. The date has come up, and this is actually the date that I'm recording this on, so you would change that to whatever the relevant date would be. You can click on the drop down arrow there to choose a date, a suitable date, and I think we're actually going to change the date to the 1st of the 11th, so 01/11/2011. And in this situation, we haven't been provided with a purchase order number. So we haven't been provided with a reference for the sale. However, we're going to use our contact's name. So our contact's name in this instance is Tom Sawyer, and we're going to put that in because when that sale goes into that company, we want to highlight to them that we have actually been dealing with someone from that, a representative of their company. And so that is filled out. Now what we're going to do is click on the tab, and we are now in the description columns. You can see in the description columns, and we're going to fill out the description. If I click in this first one, kettle bell. So this is some fitness equipment. Tab through, and the account number popped up. Now the account number automatically popped up because if you recall, when we click on ABC Proprietary Limited and we click on selling details, we selected that they would automatically be linked to this account. We can override it if we need to, but that's what we selected. So I'm going to click cancel, and that has automatically popped up. And we're tabbing across and we're entering the amount. The amount is $18.15. The tax code has automatically appeared at GST because GST is linked to this 411. And let's just check. And we're happy with that. So what has happened now, that's all we're actually filling out in that area. This is all filled out, and you'll see down the bottom here, subtotal $18.15. We've got no freight. The tax amount of $1.65 has appeared there. The total amount of $18.15 is owing, and the balance due is $18.15. Now, we are going to pop over to this section here and fill out some further information. So I get my drawer, and I'm going to say that the salesperson was Rosemary Bostic. So that came out, Rosemary Bostic, and in the salesperson area, you can only actually select employees. Okay, in the salesperson area, you can only select employees. Now, the next section down in the comment area, we're going to choose the drop-down arrow and choose as thank you. The ship via option will be air. Let's just use that method. The promise date. The promise date will be the 14th of the 11th, 2011. And the journal memo automatically was created. You can't actually, unfortunately, change the option for the journal memo. The referral source is going to be, we'll select friend, colleague, and we'll choose the delivery status of to be printed. Okay. And we have all the information filled out there, and we're going to click record. And popped up with spelling option there, not in the dictionary, so we'll just add that, and I'm going to add that to the dictionary as well. And the recording process has happened. So now what we're going to do, we were on page 109 of the book, and we're going to create a professional type sale. So as noted previously, the layout of the professional sale is similar to that of the service sale. So to get started in this sale, we need to ensure that Tonga Consulting is active. So I'm just going to minimize this, click on card file, click on card list, and now I have Tonga Consulting there. If you don't have Tonga Consulting there, can you click on this option here, show inactive? And we want to click on, I'm going to click on customers just so I have less options there. Double click in on Tonga Consulting and choose, make sure that that isn't selected, so make sure it is active. And we'll click OK. And I'm going to click close. Now I minimized my sales screen, so I'm popping down here to maximize it. Okay. Popping down here to maximize it. And I'm popping up into the customer area and I'm selecting Tonga Consulting. Fabulous. Then we're going to go to, we're going to create a new sale, and this professional sales layout appeared. If I click on the zoom arrow and click on selling details, you'll see here that when we set up Tonga Consulting, we set up the sales layout professional, and that is why it appears. I'm clicking OK down the bottom here to close that down, and you'll see I'll highlight again here. I know it's professional because it says professional here and because it has a date option here. Okay. So let's move to page 110. Okay. We're changing the date. We've come in. The invoice number has popped up automatically, and we are happy with that. We're going to change the date to the 18th of the 11th, 2011. So I'm just changing that to 18th. And in the same window, type in in the center pane. So type 10th of the 11th, 2011 in. So over here, we'll type in 10th of the 11th, 2011. And we're going to tab through and type in 2 sessions with Pat. 2 times sesh with Pat. Tab through. The account number didn't select, so I'm choosing one. I'm going to just type in 421, and that automatically appeared for me. And that 421 was one-on-one fitness class income. So if I click on the drop-down arrow here, you'll actually see it. One-on-one fitness class income. And the amount is $120. Okay. And that all fed through. So On day one, we covered how to use preferences in the menu bar under Setup. So if you found it difficult, confusing to actually have the account number there, if you're not a numbers person but more a words person, what you could do is choose Setup, Preferences. Oh, okay, I'm going to go cancel. I'm going to click record on that. I'm going to go Setup, Preferences, close down that window, and click on Preferences, Windows tab. Here is the Windows tab, and see this option here. Select and display account name, not account number. If you had that option selected, then the name would appear rather than the number. So I'm going to click OK on that, and I'm just going to make sure I have filled that out completely. Just going to make sure I have filled that out completely. So popping back into sales, popping back into sales register, and I'll choose the date. Remember, I have to go into the right date range, so it's 1st of the 11th, 2011, and I managed to get one of them up there. All sales. Let's see what the date of that one was. That was 20th of the 11th. Yeah, so I should still. Oh, it's because I've selected ABC up there. I want all customers, and then if I select on all sales, there it is, Tonga Consulting. So if I pop back there, I double click on it to open it up again, and I just want to make sure I filled it out as per page 109. I need to come and put in here, choose the salesperson, Rosemary. So just that one's fine. Just double click on Rosemary. Everything else looks fine there. Record on that. And I'm going to then click OK again. Click OK. Fabulous, and I've got them both there. Now I'm going to close down, and I'm pop back out to the Sales Command Center. Okay, back out at the Sales Command Center. So by using the Receive Payments button, you can apply payments received from a customer against open invoices. So if the sale is created through the Sales Command Center, the money must be receipted through Receive Payments. So coming over here on the right-hand side is where my Receive Payments option is. To enter a receipt, go into the Sales Command Center and click on Receive Payments. Click here, and the Receive Payments window will open up. Tap to the first field beside Deposit to Account and select ANZ. So that's selected. This is the account for which the money was deposited. Start typing the customer's name. So I'm going to type in Tonga Consulting in the customer field. A drop-down menu will appear with details of outstanding balances. So if you saw that, this is the outstanding balances, and this is Tonga Consulting there. So that's good. In the amount received field, enter $120. So here I'm going to enter $120, and I'm going to tab through. In the payment method, we're going to select check. So if I choose the drop-down option here, I'm going to select check. Notice before I do this that this area here is grey. I select check, and the details option becomes visible. So I'm going to active, it becomes active, and I'm going to click on details, and check option has been selected, and I'm now going to fill in the check information, which is 444-444, tab through J.K. Potter, tab through 55, 55, 55, 5, 55, 55, 55, 5, and the check number is 546, and I'm going to click OK. Then you've popped across, and what we're going to do is make sure that over here we put the correct date in. So we're going to choose 20th of the 11th, 2011, And I'm going to highlight something to you. Up here you can see the balance. This is the current balance of that ANZ check account. Okay, the current balance. Then we're going to just tab through. I am just tabbing. It kind of went all different colours then, you might not have realised, but I am tabbing. And what actually happened was, here, $120 filled out. That wasn't there before. That has come from here and is now filled out there. Okay? So what we're now going to do is click record. Fantastic. So what we have done there is record that transaction. So in the book, on page 114, we go on to talk about processing a bad debt. Unfortunately, it may be an inevitable part of business that you have to write off an invoice as a bad debt. Now, we don't actually have an exercise for this, but if you do have a bad debt, you'll recall that I said you can use the layout. I'm going to cancel out of that. You supposedly need to use the layout miscellaneous, that miscellaneous layout, and you record. You can record the bad debt and all the details of it. As a bad debt, you create an adjustment note. You create an adjustment note, so the bad debt will actually be negative and it may be allocated to the actual account, bad debt. And then what would happen is you'd pop into sales register, you'd choose this option here, returns and credits, and the bad debt would be sitting there because it would be a negative amount, and it would be, you would have the option to apply it to a sale, and you would apply it to the open sale, and that would automatically happen for you. Okay? Further information is page 114 on Learn MYOB in 7 days. So if I click close on that, now the Fig Tree Garden, I'm on page 115 now. The Fig Tree Garden has approached Green Apple Gym about providing a fitness instructor for group training sessions at the garden. Create and print a service type quote for Fig Tree Gardens using the following details. So I've got the following details. So what we're going to do is go to the Sales Command Center, click on the Sales Register, click on the Quotes tab over on the left-hand side here. That's where I am. Let's highlight where I am. There. Go to the bottom. Click the Fig Tree Gardens quote to highlight it. Okay, sorry, I've jumped ahead. What we've got to do is create and print a service type quote for Fig Tree Gardens. So I'm clicking close on that. I was getting ahead of myself. Click Enter Sale, and up the top here where it says Sales Type, choose the drop down arrow and choose Quote. In the customer area, choose Fig. We don't have Fig Tree, so we're actually going to have to create it. Okay, so F-I-G-T-R-E-E Gardens, and I'm going to tab through. So I typed it in, I tab through, and I'm going to choose Easy Add, and that has automatically added it. I am going to highlight that, remember when I chose the sales quote, the colour here all changed to this this baby pink colour, or this salmon colour. Now, in the exercise, it actually tells me that the salesperson is Rosemary Bostic, and the allocation is for gardens for group training sessions. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come in here and drill down into the card file, into the selling details, and here where it says salesperson, I'm going to say that the salesperson is automatically Rosemary Bostic. I don't know if it is, I don't know if it isn't, but I'm going to put that in there. It tells me that the expense is for group training sessions. I don't know if it was always that, but I'm actually going to choose that. So group training income here, that chose that group training income. And this is a service type, so up there it has selected service, so I'm fine with that. And I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to click OK. Now, interestingly enough, we have amended that card. However, it will not automatically appear in this invoice. It will appear on the next invoice. So those autofills will not appear on this invoice just because we've entered it as a new card. So let's see how we go. The invoice number is 3. We can see that there. The date is 1st of November, so if I change that date to 01. The description, so I'm going to pop into here and type in description. Gardens for group Remember I said put as much description as you know, that you have. Put as much description as you have. Tab through. The account number hasn't popped up, but I think it was 422. I might be wrong. I'll just check on that. Group training income, I was correct. The amount is $800. You'll notice, I haven't highlighted this before, but you'll notice up here it says tax inclusive. See that? That's a big tick there. So this amount here is tax inclusive, and this subtotal is tax inclusive, okay? If that was unticked, it would all be different. Okay, $800. I've got no job, GST. The salesperson information I have is Bostic. The promise date is 01/12/2011. And any other information I can fill in there? No, I don't think so. I've done all of that. The promised date and the default terms of the company have just come out there. Okay, so I'm not sure when she's expecting payment. That's just the default terms. So I'm going to select Save Quote. And it's popped up with my little spelling dictionary, and I'm going to... Excellent. Now, I'm going to cancel out of that. I'm coming out to my command center, and here is my sales command center. So the Fig Tree Gardens has received the quote and authorized the purchase and issued a purchase number, FTOCT369. So I want to change the quote to an invoice and issue it to the Fig Tree Gardens. So I'm going into my sales register, and I'm looking for quotes, and there it has popped up for me, but if it didn't pop up automatically for you, please look at your dates. Has your date range enough for it to pop up? Then click on the Quotes tab. I'm clicked on the Quotes tab. Enter that date range highlights. So we've got that there, and I'm going to double click into it, and I'm going to put the purchase number. Remember, that was FTOCT369. Fantastic. And we want to put that in, and we want to change it to a invoice. So down the bottom here, can you see it says invoice? We're going to change it to an invoice. So we're converting the order, the quote, into an invoice, and I'm going to click on record. Fantastic. So that's now an invoice. We should be able to see, I can still see it here because the window hasn't been refreshed. So if I refresh the window, it still pops up there, but it should be sitting there as an open invoice. Okay, so the invoice remains there because it's not being deleted. I didn't choose the option to delete it. Okay, and that I'll highlight. If you click on Setup, Preferences, Sales, delete quote upon changing to and recording as an order or an invoice. So we didn't have that option ticked, so that didn't happen, okay? So then what happens is we're paid. Fig Tree Gardens is paid the full amount on the invoice by bank transfer. So we're going over to Receive Payments, and we are looking for Fig Tree Garden, clicking on Tab Through, and they paid the full amount. Pop down here, see how this option says Receive All? Click on Receive All. And that, you'll notice again, has filled out 800 here and 800 here. We've received the full amount. Oh, that was a neater circle than last time, wasn't it? So we're happy with that. We want to make sure that the date is correct, so it should be the 9th, 09/12/2011, and we'll click Record. Fantastic. So it's good to reconcile your sales on a regular basis. The reconciliation involves comparing the outstanding amounts in the sales ledger with the trade debtors balance. So this is easy within MYOB, as you can access a report that compares these two amounts, so the sales ledger amount and the trade debtors amount. This report is called the Receivables Reconciliation Exception Report and is found in the company data order in the Accounts Command Center. So I'm going to show you. So if we go Cancel here, one of the ways to look at it is to go to Reports. So we'll go to Reports. Clicking on Reports, that popped up over here. Reports, and I'm choosing Sales, and I'm choosing Receivables Reconciliation. Receivables Reconciliation. And I can even choose today's date, it doesn't matter. Click on Display. And what this is telling me is they are reconciled. The amount is $0. They're reconciled. $18.15 here, $18.15 here, and so that's all okay. But I'm going to highlight that to you another way. I'm going to close down that, and I'm going to close down that. If you wanted to, let's have a look. I'll pop back into reports, and I'll just show you. If I wanted to just see my receivables, so I'm just looking at my receivables display. Oh, where did it go? Here it is. Here is my receivables. I'm currently owed $18.15. But if it will let me, accounts, account list, trade debtors, can you see there? $18.15. So the trade debtors amount matches with, I know I've lost it, Windows, oh I can't see it, let's see if I can, oh maybe it closed down. That matches with my report window sales ledger amount. Oh, and that's, oh maybe I've got to open up here, sorry. There, that matches with my $18.15 there, okay? If they're not matching, then something's gone wrong somewhere along the track and I need to investigate. So, I want to also highlight to you the different sorts of statements that you get in MYOB. So, clicking back here on the Sales Command Center, and over here on the left-hand side, you have print email statements. So a statement is a document summarizing the outstanding invoices that the business issues to its customers. So some businesses that issue a high volume of invoices per customer, for example, a daily bread delivery, they issue a separate invoice per delivery, but they may only require payment on receipt of the statement. So similarly, some clients may expect you to only pay on receipt of the statement. So you need to make sure that your customers clearly understand when you require your payment. So I typically want payment on an invoice, but some people will only pay to statement. So it's interesting. Within MYOB, if I click on Print Email Statement, I have the option up here, Statement Type, and I have the drop-down option, and I have two types, Invoice and Activity. The invoice statement details open invoices and their balances as at a certain date. So that would just detail the open invoice of ABC Limited. The activity statement details all activities between a date range. See how the other field opened up, and it will detail it between a date range. Okay, and you can choose advanced filters if relevant, and you can choose it to come to a specific customer. You can print them out and you can email them. So you can see I could tick there and I could email it. This is highlighted because I don't have an email address on ABC Proprietary Limited. But if I did, then I could fill that out. Okay, so I'm going to click on cancel there. I'm on page 117 of Learn MYOB in 7 days and looking at analysing receivables, which we did just quickly talk about before. So if you're using AccountWrite version 19 or above and your screen looks like this, go down and click on this option down the bottom here, the right-hand side, Business Insights, and click on that. You'll see a range of customer analysis statistics, including the number here up the top, the second one along. Customer analysis statistics. Now, we don't have a lot of information in here yet, but this gives you information on the number of customers who owe you money, top customers by year-to-date sales value, age receivables, and customer sales history with you. So this can give you a really good, some really good dashboard information. So a quick snapshot was what's going on, and highlight to you, say perhaps if these are the top 10 customers by year-to-date sales value, maybe you need to, turn around and say thank you for the work that you've received from them, and send them a gift basket. Or maybe you need to let them know of other services you can provide. It's easier to sell into customers that you're already dealing with. This highlights age receivables, and this one down here, and highlights the fact that you should be perhaps chasing these people who owe you money. Now, if I click on close, we're talking about credit applications in terms of engagement. Now, MYOB's software did come with credit application templates. Now, MYOB does come with credit application templates. So if you come over here and click on Card File and click on Create Personalized Letters, and then choose the particular organization, and then click down here on the bottom right-hand side and click on Mail Merge, it actually gives you the opportunity to send ABC Proprietary Limited a credit application document. If you click Use Template, it pops up with lots of questions for you to fill out. So what are the number of days customers have to pay off their invoices? We'll just put in something bizarre. And how many days does the customer have to make claims against their invoice? What interest rate do you charge for overdue interest rates? So we'll go 40%, not that that's relevant, not that that's typical. We want them to pay us on time. How much do you charge for a bounced check? We're going to charge them $50. Oops, we're going to charge them $50. And what has happened is it automatically creates a credit application for you, which is filled out as per the data that I filled in. So you can see the things that I put in there. So that is really good in that it gives you the opportunity to fill out a credit application form for the business. And it had other forms there that you could fill out. So if I click back on that and remind you, there was other forms there, bounce documents, collection documents, thank you documents, etc. that might be useful to you. Okay, so I'm going to cancel there. So in terms of chasing up clients, in terms of invoicing clients, it's important to ensure that the client understands the pricing and has a clear understanding of how much they will owe you. It's important that you, when we talked about sales and entering sales, that you keep a track of the purchase order number or the reference number of the person. It's important that the invoices that you customize, so if you click on here on Setup, Customize Forms, and you have the option to customize the actual invoices, when you customize them, that they are clear, that they're accurate, that they comply with taxation requirements, and people clearly understand how much they owe the business. As mentioned, make sure you send them out on a timely basis, and that the terms of payment are clearly identified. I also highlighted down here under your dashboard business insights to encourage you to follow up on unpaid accounts. So again, really important to follow up on any unpaid accounts. So there you have it. We have gone through the Sales Command Center and gone through how sales are processed in different ways. What we're going to do in day 4 is we're going to look at the Purchase Command Center. And the Purchase Command Center is literally a mirror image of the Sales Command Center. So you should find tomorrow, day 4, really easy to follow. Thank you.